You can now keep in sync your ClickUp with Google Sheets in real time. Any change you'd be doing in ClickUp right here would appear straight in your spreadsheet. And I'm going to show you how to use this brand new feature in ClickUp to Sheets in this video. If you don't know about ClickUp to Sheets already, it's a Google Workspace add-on. You can download it on the Google Workspace Marketplace. I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel explaining how to set it up and get started. This is amazing if you're a company and you have external stakeholders, clients, or just people that are not on ClickUp and want to have access to whatever's happening in ClickUp. And before this new feature, you already could do that, but you had to wait once every 3 hours for your list or your view to be updated and refreshed in the spreadsheet. Now it's not a problem anymore, because if you subscribe to ClickUp to Sheets on the business plan, you can now have your changes in ClickUp reflect in your spreadsheet directly. I am in the list here in ClickUp, and we have a few talents. So these are basically candidates for my company. They appear in the list in ClickUp. Each one's a task. And if I open it up, I have a bunch of information. I got some urgency, phases, scores. These are custom fields. They also have dates. If I wanted, I could put an assignee, for example, and add an assignee custom field. And that could be, for example, someone at HR handling the relationship with that candidate. I can assign it. I could attach some information, change some values, etc. Just prepare my data as it is in ClickUp. But now, what if you have someone outside the company that wanted to look at the data, or if you wanted to crunch that data in dashboards outside of ClickUp? Because ClickUp doesn't let you go very far with dashboards. Whereas if you get your data out of ClickUp, you're going to be able to bring it here in a spreadsheet and play with it the way you want. And I'm going to show you how to. So we're going to go into list sync here, and we're going to create a new sync. Now, what you have to know is, where are you in your ClickUp workspace? So here I'm in a space called people, and under a folder called hiring, I have a list called talents. So I'm going to pick that up in my spreadsheet. I'm going to go in the right workspace, then look up for the space called people, and then it's going to suggest me to find folders or lists outside folder. I'm going to pick the only folder I have, which is hiring. And then underneath that, I should have my list called talents. So I have my list here, and I'm able to pick between manual sync, which we already had, which means you have to sync every single time by hand by coming back to the add-on and clicking, which is fairly safe and easy. And it's just if you want to do a one-time export, or scheduled sync, which we had already available on business and pro plans. So every 3 hours, the sync would just be refreshed. And then live sync, which is only available on business plan. If you're interested about the pricing tiers of ClickUp to Sheets, there's a link down below. I'll explain that at the end of this video, but you're gonna see as you go up in pricing, obviously you get more capabilities in features. So I'm gonna pick live sync here. You're gonna have the lightning bolt. And as you can see, for now, live sync is only available on one way. ClickUp to Sheets lets you update tasks from spreadsheets to ClickUp as long as you pick manual or scheduled sync. But since here we're picking live sync, I can only update changes in ClickUp and they reflect here. And that's just a safety measure. But if you're interested about the live sync feature in ClickUp to Sheets, just leave a comment down below and let me know if you'd like to see two-way sync, because I'm planning on doing that, but I just want to make sure that you guys are going to use it, need it. And if you're curious about ClickUp to Sheets, go give it a try. And if you'd love to have your updates in the spreadsheet reflect in real time in ClickUp, just let me know down there. So for now, it's one way. I'm going to leave it as is, and I'm going to bring a few values from ClickUp. So I'm going to select custom fields, close tasks, and then maybe we're going to turn on the color status and dropdowns and create report. I'm going to click start sync. And then what it's going to do is it's going to create the two sheets that I need, the one with the table and the one with the report. And I'm going to be able to make some changes in ClickUp, and they're going to reflect in that sheet. So let's give it a minute until it syncs up.
A few moments later.
Back to my spreadsheet now, and whatever was in ClickUp is now in my sheet. It's all being synced. It took about a minute, and that's just the very first time you're going to keep a sync. Now, the next times, you're going to be able to make your changes in ClickUp, and that's going to reflect, and you're not going to have to run any refresh anymore. So that means is if I were to add someone a task in ClickUp, it will reflect here. So I'm creating a task right here called Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a new candidate, has a score, has a phase, whatever, some information. And that task, as you can see, just got refreshed and appeared right here straight away. As you can see, I haven't filled that information, but that's not a problem because if I were to go to ClickUp and just fill that in, for example, say they were accepted, add an assignee to the task, or update their score to 3, all of these changes, they'll reflect in real time. So as you can see, they have been accepted here. Their score has been updated to 3. I can open it up again and do the same for another task. Say I pick William Anderson here. I'm gonna add someone. I'm gonna say maybe this candidate is now rejected. And say, for example, they go in the batch previous and their department was sales. If we look at that same person in the sheet, we can see that they have been rejected. So the status have been updated. We can see that an assignee have been put. And then we have some information like the batch, it's urgent. We have the email and everything that is here. So any change that you make updates it in the spreadsheet. I'm just gonna show you another last example. I'm gonna pick some new departments for everyone. I'm gonna put this 2 first people to marketing, then I'm gonna put some people to operations, and then maybe some more to customer service, and then some to tech. So all of these changes, I made like 6, 7 changes here. They're gonna appear here in real time. Takes about 5 seconds and all your changes in ClickUp are reflected here in your spreadsheet. Now this feature is really interesting because I can then create dashboards and crunch the data that I have in that table. So here I have organized my candidates by status: candidate, talent, rejected, or hired. If I were to make some changes in ClickUp, say bring a lot more to rejected, that rejected column will just increase in real time. So I made all these changes, and as you can see, the rejected column has piled up. And the reason being that a lot more tasks are being moved to the status rejected. So any changes you're making in ClickUp just updates not only the table, but the dashboards you create. And what's interesting here is that ClickUp only allows you to create dashboards with custom data starting at the business plan. Whereas here, you could have one ClickUp to Sheet subscription for your whole team and just create one dashboard, give access to whomever. You just click here, share, and share the dashboard publicly, and they can just access the dashboard without you having to create extra subscriptions or upgrading your subscriptions in ClickUp. And obviously I've created a very simple dashboard here with one very simple piece of data. But if I wanted to drill down and go deeper into the data, as you can see here, if I click edit chart, I can go much further and aggregate the data based on a second value, for example. I can add a series, I can change the axis. So I could group it through another field. Say I want to see by status, but also by department. For example, I could aggregate by score. Any changes I make in ClickUp will reflect the dashboards that I've created here. Now, not only can you keep in sync a list, but you can also keep in sync a view. If you click here with add new view sync, and say we want to keep in sync the ongoing folder, or we have a bunch of tasks here. So I'm going to keep all of these tasks in sync with my spreadsheet. So I'm going to pick the web design space. Perfect. And then I am going to pick my folder. It's actually a folder view, so I need to change that first. Perfect. Ongoing folder. And then here I should have my list view that I can pick, and it's live. And I'm going to choose to just color the statuses, bring in the dates, bring in every custom field, and click Start Sync. Now, obviously, those settings are customizable, and I've talked about those settings when I introduced the list sync and the view sync in previous videos. So if you want to discover ClickUp to Sheets as a whole, you can go back to those videos. And I'm also going to do an up-to-date demo of ClickUp to Sheets in the coming weeks, where I'll be talking about all the features, because the product is done now. There's not going to be many new features, except maybe live syncs from the sheet to ClickUp. That might be the last feature that we're going to do in the tool. And after that, we're going to just share with you the whole tour of ClickUp to Sheets. Obviously, if you want to refresh the status, you can see here, but you will also see the sheet filling in, and that's a one-time thing. So that first minute of your time, you're going to have to wait for that sync to work. But once that's done, the good thing with live sync is that the spreadsheet will not be cleaned out anymore. If you've been using ClickUp to Sheets, you know that we have to wipe out the spreadsheet and rewrite everything again. Now everything is there in real time. Any change in ClickUp will happen back here in the live sync. That being said, if you wanted, go to talents here, you can click on a sync here on the sidebar and you can perform a full list sync, which wipes out everything and brings it back, just in case you want to make sure that the data is fresh in the spreadsheet. But most of the time, you will not need that. Now, back to my view that says ongoing. It's being synced right now. Everything's being created, my list, my name, my link, everything's being filled in. And that's beautiful because I'm starting to see my data here. And as you can see, we only see parent tasks. And the reason is that here we picked expanded. So if you pick collapsed or expanded, you will not see the subtasks. Seeing the subtasks, you're gonna have to pick separate here. So the setup you do here, the filtering you do here, and the grouping and the columns you pick here is gonna determine what you see in your sheet. So if you wanna bring a filtered data from a list, what I recommend you to do is actually create a filter view somewhere. And with that filtered view, just create a new view sync in ClickUp to Sheets. Now we have our view, we have our sync, and just gonna make it match how it looks here with all the collapsed field. And we have, for example, a new ticket here. And as you can see, we have something called new ticket here as well. And if I wanted, I can just go here and delete that, okay? And that will get deleted as a row from here automatically. So as you can see, that row has disappeared. We don't have it anymore. And any change that I did here got reflected. Obviously, it's the same thing if I were to update some fields. So say here we have the batch custom field. I like that one because it's colored. And we bring everything to some batches. That's gonna fill the value in every single row back in my sheet. As you can see, everything's got written and all my changes, every update, changing assignees, start dates, due dates, everything gets reflected in my sheet. So that's brand new in ClickUp to Sheets. And if you want to try live sync, you can try it completely free for 7 days. And I've actually reset every single trial. If you gave it a shot in the past, but you were not happy with it, or you just didn't have the feature you needed, like live sync, you can try it again completely free. All you're gonna have to do is go to clickuptosheets.com, click start syncing free here, and you're gonna be brought to the Google Workspace Marketplace, install the add-on, give it a shot, and if you're happy with ClickUp to Sheets, you can subscribe. So there are 3 different plans. There's a starter plan, which only lets you sync 3 lists. You cannot go beyond that, and it's one way. It's ClickUp to Google Sheets, 3 lists or views, and that's it. Then you're gonna have the Pro plan, where you can bring as many lists or views as you wish from ClickUp to Google Sheets again, so one way, but you can customize what to import, and you can bring in time entries and users as well. And now last plan, and the one we're the most interested in this video, is the one that brings you 2-way sync. So on a scheduled sync, you can make your changes in the spreadsheet and they'll appear in ClickUp. And the next feature is live syncs, which is already in place. You can already download the add-on, it's there, and I'm gonna add the feature right here very soon, and I'm probably gonna bump the price. So if you're interested by ClickUp to Sheets, you need to give it a shot right now. And if you want live syncs, go for the business plan. It's 1 subscription for whoever is using the sheet. So if you have, say, 50 users on ClickUp, you can bring just 1 or 2 manager account, buy 1 or 2 subscriptions of ClickUp to Sheets, and you can export as many data as you want from ClickUp. You could use that for external stakeholder reports to keep that data in sync with another tool through an automation going between your sheet and that other tool. You could use that to import it somewhere else. You could use that as a backup. There's many use cases. If you're curious about the tool, just go down there, give it a try, download ClickUp to Sheets, and I'll see you soon on another video. Until then, stay productive.